For me to go on Facebook and to see that new trains have been announced was like such a unexpected thing to happen, but I'm glad that it happened. And yes, I know Facebook, whatever, boomer, call me whatever. My Spotify age is only 27, so I'm not even that much of a boomer. All right, I'm gonna need you guys to stop doing whatever you're doing right now and take a look at this sexy ass motherfucker right here. Just look at him for a second and think about what's really going on here. What's really happening in this frame? You have this beautiful Makita metal cruncher at your bottom right, and then you have this sculpted masculine figure in the middle, and then you have an Earth Machine deck profile from 3 years ago. I wonder who this sexy motherfucker is and if I'll ever be able to meet him, because he looks very ecstatic about this Earth Machine deck profile that he's making. I mean, it does say the best competitive Earth Machine deck profile ever. And, you know, luckily for the audience watching, you guys won't have to look far and wide to find this person, because I'm him. I am him. And I used to be the biggest Earth Machine fan around the 2022 era. That was the last time the deck was somewhat viable as a rogue strategy. That's when like Kitchen Sink was still a thing. Virtual World was still good. I remember that format vividly. I played against Hani Chahwari and Pack in that format in a 3v3, and I went to my first regional. I took Earth Machine to my first regional. I did terrible, absolutely garbage. I didn't practice at all, and I got annihilated, but it was still a fun time, and I was going to a lot of locals. I topped multiple locals with Earth Machine. That was not an issue with for me. So yeah, this channel was something of a time capsule for me. It's like I even got this Earth Machine in a 120 player tournament, Gamer's Choice. Look, I've been around. So that being said, it is a great set of cards. Like you have one of the best spell cards, I think, in Yu-Gi-Oh! This card enables so much for so many different machine decks. It's also a one card FTK. Which I think I'll show one FTK in this video, but we don't care about FTKs here. We play honest Yu-Gi-Oh on this channel, so I don't care too much about that. Blue Traveler searches the revolving switchyard, which is what the deck has needed for so long. Oh my god, so glad it's finally here. And this card has probably the best graveyard effect in the entire deck. We're gonna get into that. Next, we have Heavy Knight Babbledecker. This card is a replacement for Night Express Knight, and its stats are perfect for like three different reasons, right? It's a level 10 Earth Machine. 500 attack means box is finally useful. Like, I don't hate Ancient Gear Box anymore, and also for Clockwork Knight. So there's a lot going on with this card. It's also something of a K9 where you can overlay by itself if your opponent activates a card effect this turn. Unfortunately, not a quick effect, but still amazing card. We have a starter rank 10. We have a starter as on a rank 10, which is great because now this means that the trains can now get you into other Earth Machine engines. So if you only open the level 10, so you're not just stuck playing with level 10s, you can turn the level 10s into the other engine that you're playing, which is great. It gives you an extra normal summon, it gives you a surge, and it lets you pop spells and traps equal to its number of exceed materials that you detach. So great card overall. And lastly, we got a super Gustav rocket, or we got a super rail cannon Gustav. I know, the fucking German shits couldn't get, like, it's a fucking super mega ultra shit, right? These are the kind of stats that you only saw in like Super Robot Galaxy Destroyer. Now it has like triple rocket arrow expresses on it. It has like 10 different cannons. It's doing way too much. It's going way over the top, but we love this card because it's an instant overlay for for the OG Rail Cannon Gustav, the one that inflicts 2000, and it's also ranked 10, so it works really well with Babbledecker. This card might even be a 2 of in a perfect world, because A, because of its stats, but B, because of how easy it is to summon. Also, it doesn't have to detach to negate a monster effect, although it is a hard once per turn negate, which is kind of tough because you could easily make 2 of these in Earth Machine with all this new support, but it is still a really good card, and it's going to be one of your staple end board pieces. Like, this is going to be probably your best one on top of like Dora or something, so that's something you should be considering. Alright, so starting with the first line, I'm going to show these combos in terms of their potency. So I'm going to show like the lowest potential combo first, and then we'll work our way up. So we're going to start with Blue Traveler is going to grab a Switch Yard, and it's a 1.5 card combo, so you're just going to need any discard really. You go Babble Decker, you link off into Clockwork Knight, and then you're going to use Blue's once per duel effect to summon itself and any other Earth Machine from the graveyard. You're locked into machines for the rest of the turn, but you're playing the perfect deck for that, right? 2 level 10 to make Launcher. Launcher now searches Harvester, as I mentioned. It's now a starter for... it turns trains into a starter for every Earth Machine deck. So what I did here is... Okay, so Launcher cannot detach its materials without being able to pop or spell or trap card. So I decided to pop Switch Yard because A, we already used its effect this turn. It's a double hard once per turn, so it's like once per turn and only one effect per turn. So once you use it to search, it's like it's useless for the rest of the turn. We have Clockwork Knight on the field, right? So Clockwork Knight's able to revive Babble Decker by tributing a monster, but we needed to get this to graveyard. So we detached Babble Decker, popped our own Switch Yard, then we use Clockwork to tribute Launcher, bring this back. This, as much as I hate giving up a body with 3800, which is really big, it doesn't do enough on its own, so we can trade it away for Babble Decker. Just know I did the sequencing a little wrong. You're supposed to normal summon Harvester first before you do this, because this guy needs to stay on field to give you the extra normal summon. So just know that this is legal. Just summon Harvester first and then use Clockwork, Tribute, Flying Launcher, summon out Babble Decker. So it's alright. So we go Dozer, Trencher, go River Stormer, go Regulus. So now we go Gearbox, and Gearbox is going to search Tunneler. So now we go Trencher, summon back Harvester, make them both level 10. Gustav to inflict 2k. Link into Goliath. And then we're going to use River Stormer, tribute Goliath, and then attach Goliath to Rocket. So that's the one thing about Rocket, is that its end phase effect, it does activate, so it is an effect, meaning that you can essentially, once Goliath is attached to him, you can essentially always choose to not detach if you don't have to, and then Goliath will protect it from destruction. So you don't have to detach from this card if you don't want to, but by all means, if you want to put these guys in graveyard so you have enough bodies for like Tunneler or something, you know, absolutely. Or if you want to, if you have like Anger Knuckle and you want to revive one of your level 10s next turn, absolutely. Like Bullet Express or something, then yeah. But otherwise, you don't have to. I don't think Derek Crane triggers off this guy, because I believe Derek Crane has to be detached to activate a effect, so I don't think it should trigger off of this. But everything else is like, if you just need the monster in graveyard, then by all means. Next we're going to do Tunneler, get our draw 2, and we're just going to play Pretend, and just, you know, I'm just showing you some of the non-engine you can be playing. You're playing 12 non-engine, or you're playing 12 hand traps. You have space for 12 plus hand traps in the list. So I'm just showing you some options as to what you could possibly draw here. But this is basically the end board. It's like 2 interruptions off a 1.5 card combo. It's really just Blue, and any discard can get you Regulus plus Monster Negate with 5,000 attack that can be destroyed by card effects. You can put him in attack position if you wanted to, because 3,000 defense might be easy for some decks to get over, but 5,000 attack, that's a really tall order, and they're going to prioritize getting rid of this card. You may want to leave this guy in attack mode because he doesn't lose to Lightning Storm. Yeah, Dueling Book's just acting weird. I don't know why it's like all the way to the left like this, but we're just going to keep moving. Heavy forward. This gets you into Harvester, and then this gets you into Clockwork. So the reason why you'd want to do it this way, because Heavy Forward's going to stay on your field for the entire turn. Oh, now it wants to go back to normal. Heavy Forward's going to stay on your field for the entire turn. You can hold off going for Clockwork Knight if you want to hold off using the Heavy Forward, because you will have another chance when you have cards like Babble Decker, or you'll be able to revive Harvester. So you don't need to do this as soon as you turn start. But if you want access to the Regulus earlier than usual, then you can go for the Clockwork Knight. Because going for this without being able to go for Regulus just means that you're your River Stormer is going to be summon number 5, right? Because we went 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5. So going for this without being able to go for Regulus opens you up to Nibiru. But you only want to do it this way if you're going for Regulus. That being said, this video is meant to explore the lines, not so much show the most optimal lines through all the hand traps, because I'm going to save that for another video. There's a lot to go through here, so yeah. We went for Bleu off of River Stormer. I think this is now the best card to get off River Stormer. I can't think of a better card than this to get off River Stormer, because even Regulus, because Regulus doesn't get you the extension that Blue Traveler gets you. Blue Traveler is by far going to be the best card that you can use for combo extension, because it gets you Switch Yard and it gets you 2 bodies from Graveyard, whereas Regulus just gets you a Omni Negate where it has to leave the field. So it's better to play the resource game than it is to play with Regulus, in my opinion. And then if you did go for this line, like the exact way that I did it, and they don't nib you, then, you know, the Clockwork Knight starts to come into clutch, because then you just get to search Regulus anyway. So now we're going to use Regulus to attach Clockwork, go for Trencher, bring out, and now we go for Genius, and Genius is good in the deck now too, because Blue summons 2 at once, meaning you get to search another level 5 or higher monster, machine monster from your deck. And we get to use the 2 level 10s to go into Flying Launcher. So because we summoned Flying Launcher, we're also able to summon Daracrane. I just forgot to do it in that order. But yeah, like when you summon Flying Launcher, you can chain block it with Daracrane. You search your Railroad Stampede, and then you get to go for Ballista. And then Ballista grabs you Box and Babeldecker. Now, because we still control Flying Launcher, we get an extra normal summon, and we can normal summon out the the Babeldecker. Babeldecker can bring out the Stampede. And you may be a little confused as to why I went for Harvester here instead of going for Daracrane when Daracrane's right here. Like, yeah, this is level 10, this is level 10, or this can become level 10, and this would be level 10. So why even go for the so why not go for the Daracrane? And the reasoning is, and also because I just make sure that your zones do matter, so you do have to put Harvester under Ballista here. Make sure like Ballista is pointing to the zone that Harvester's in. Make Stampede level 10, detach Babeldecker, and then now you can go for Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight can now tribute your Ballista or any machine that you're not using, summon back Babeldecker. And then you can go for Anger Knuckle. Anger Knuckle can send one, or send itself, to bring out the Daracrane. And now you have a Dora with Daracrane attached to it. So this is a slightly better scenario for you. And then at any point you could have went for the Rocket. You probably should have went for it before you did all this, but it doesn't matter that much. I was still figuring the line out. I wanted to potentially save it for Anger Knuckle, but I figured with an end board this strong, you didn't need to keep Anger Knuckle on field. And even if you do use Regulus as an Omni Negate this turn, Bullet Train is in Graveyard this turn, so it lets you add the Regulus back to hand on end phase. Because I don't think there's a better target for Bullet Train in your Graveyard at the current moment than Regulus. You could argue Box, but we already used Box this turn, but maybe Box next turn could be a good target if we're able to revive Bullet Train again. So still, you're sitting on 3 interruptions, right? Monster Negate, Dora, and Regulus. And you can see that Gustav Rocket has 2 materials, so it is able to be destroyed by card effects. I might have done some wrong sequencing, but I believe you could have tributed River Stormer to put Goliath at some point in this line. Now that being said, this is going to survive your opponent's turn if they have nothing else, and Dora here is going to help protect this card from being affected by card effects. So you could absolutely leave this in attack position still. Just leave Dora in defense, leave this in attack position, and you know, obviously you can leave Regulus in attack position because you don't want them to just swing over your Regulus normally without being able to commit to some sort of option. So yeah, you should be alright here. So now we're just going to do Harvester by itself. And it's like, Nistro, doesn't Harvester by itself make a more... Shouldn't this be a weaker line than going for Clockwork Knight? And the answer is, in theory, yes. But in practice, using the extra discards to get Clockwork Knight to graveyard stops you from using Switchyard's second effect rather than its searching effect. So you're not getting the full value off of Switchyard first turn, right? So that's why this line may be slightly better. So we're going for Switchyard, and then we're just going to use Blue Traveler's Graveyard effect to summon it from graveyard, and that way Switchyard can summon out Stampede from graveyard. Stampede gets you an extra body, and now Stampede's going to target itself and Blue to make them both level 10. And actually, that was incorrect because Stampede is already level 10. So you actually don't need to trigger you don't need to activate Stampede to change its level, because thanks to Switchyard, it's already going to be level 10. Just keep note of that. So we're going to search Regulus. Ballista here is going to grab Box and Babbledecker. Go Regulus. Use our extra normal on the Babbledecker. We're going to use Harvester, target itself and Regulus, make them both level 10. And then we're going to use Gearbox to summon Clockwork Knight in the arrow Ballista points to. And then Clockwork Knight can bring back the Babbledecker. And then you can use Launcher here to pop the Goliath. In case Regulus, doesn't need to be used, you can still pop Goliath. And Goliath can attach to the Gustav. And then you can go Anger Knuckle, bring back your Blue Traveler just so you can go for Dora. And then you can go any discard for the Gustav. And also Anger Knuckle sending itself. Anger Knuckle send itself, summon back the level 10 for Dora. And then you have Gustav Rocket here. So this is a slightly less potent field because you don't have the Dara Crane under the Super Dora. We could have, if we were feeling spicy, went for Genius when we had only Goliath on field. Like when we were sitting on just Goliath after the Riverstorm search, you could have went Trencher, bring back Dozer, and then link those two into Genius, and then you could have gotten an extra search for Dara Crane actually. So you could get Dara Crane in this line. I just forgot it. But yeah, you do get to keep Flying Launcher on field, which is cool. You could trade the Anger Knuckle for Flying Launcher. Like if you want to search, let's say, if you want to search Bullet Train instead of Dara Crane when you go for this line, you can, and you can use Bullet Train as a constant resource to, loop back some of your best cards. But otherwise, yeah, it's still a really strong line, and I'll keep saying it, you can leave your Rocket in attack position in this line. I just like leaving it. I'm just so hardwired into leaving monsters in defense first turn, or my most important monsters. I'm hardwired at leaving in my most important monsters in defense first turn, but you can absolutely leave it in attack position. There's no issue with that. So now we're going for the exceptional schedule line, and this line can be an FTK if you want it to be, but I wanted to show what this line does with just Engine. So we set up the token on the opponent's field, and we get to activate the urgent schedule immediately, go for Blue and Harvester. I have seen a line where people go Harvester plus Trencher, and then use the Trencher and the Harvester to link off into Ballista, which is a different way to go about using this line. But I like this line better because it's just more resource efficient. It's like you don't have to be playing a Tunneler in your deck to go for this line, because there is an argument that you don't need to play Tunneler anymore. Now that Gearbox has a better target in deck, there's an argument that like Tunneler isn't necessary. So that's the way that I built this line. I built this line without Tunneler in mind. So that's why you're going to see me do it the way I did. So Genius searches Regulus and Harvester searches Dozer. This way you can chain block the Genius, and Genius can't be impermed. Like, it's unaffected by spells and traps, so it can't be impermed. Well, they can imperm it, they can purge it, but those cards will not affect Genius. So if they waste or burn their imperm on this, free chicken, right? And you're chain blocking it this way so that if in case Harvester gets negated, Genius still gets to search. Now we know they don't have Ash, otherwise they would have ashed the urgent schedule, because why would you not? I guess you could argue Genius Chainlink 2 would make more sense if Purge was around, because then Genius can't be affected by Purge, so you chain block the Harvester and Genius still gets to resolve. And you know that they don't have Ash because they would have ashed urgent schedule. So I guess you could argue that Genius Chainlink 2 is better here. So now we go for Goliath with the Harvester, and then we're going to link 2 into the Ballista. Go for Gearbox. And look at how much resources we've gotten off of just one spell card. When I first started playing this line, I was trying to go for Varudross, but then I realized Blue Traveler does lock you into Machine, and there was no way for me to get to 2 level 10s before I did the Machine lock. So I just playing heavily into being locked into Machines. So I'm gonna normal summon out the Babbledecker, and I didn't go Brutodozer yet. Like, you could have went normal Babbledecker, special Brutodozer, and Brutodozer triggers even if it's summoned off of Babbledecker, which is cool. But I didn't do that yet just to save my zones. I'm going to go Daracrane here. Then go River Stormer, search Stampede. Then we go Trencher, go Daracrane, make them both level 10, excuse me, Gustav. And yes, this is something you should be aware of, right? You always want to go Daracrane in a line where you go for exceptional schedule, because you don't want to leave the token on their field come their turn. And actually, they can't imperm you once they have the token on field. They can't imperm you. They have to preemptively fool you. And they have to preemptively use all their charmies once they see exceptional schedule activated. So because of that, playing through hand traps is going to be very interesting, because there's going to be a lot of ways that we can mitigate certain situations. So that's why the hand trap video is going to take a little longer, because there's a lot of nuance as to how hand traps can be played around using this stuff. So we used a launcher to pop our own Goliath, attach it to Gustav, make the new Gustav. Then we go launcher to use our second normal summon. Now you may have seen me normal summon Babbledecker and think, oh, well, that was our normal, or that was the second normal summon. But remember that we started with urgent schedule and we extended with Blue Traveler, so we didn't use our normal summon up until like we had like 5 cards in hand, just about, or 4 cards in hand, and we normal summoned out Babbledecker as our first summon. First normal summon, and then Stampede is our second normal summon. And then Stampede, really straightforward, right? Get Daracrane, make it both level 10, you go for Dora. Now this is like a really robust field. You have follow-up on field, you have huge bodies on field, 3 interruptions still. You don't have the follow-up, but you do have, well, you have somewhat a follow-up with exceptional schedule. I figured in case you don't draw another body, using this to extend could be very strong, because this can just revive one of your level 10 machines from graveyard banishment. Sitting on 3 interruptions on end phase is not bad at all, especially with protection for your rocket or whatever else your opponent tries to hit you with. So I wanted to try a hand with only the new support, because before this line I was considering only a single Babbledecker or maybe 2 at most, but now I think this line creates an argument where Babbledecker can be played at 3. So Blue Traveler is going to get us the Switch Yard. I'm going to normal out the Babbledecker, special out the Flying Stampede, and then go for the Blue Traveler. And then we're going to go for Ballista, right? So Ballista is going to grab us Box and Babbledecker. We're going to link 1 into Clockwork, and then we're going to tribute the Ballista, summon out the Clockwork. Summon back the Babbledecker, and then Babbledecker can summon any Earth Machine from hand, including another copy of itself, meaning that you can just summon out the second one from hand, overlay both into Varudross, which is really cool, because now this is like the most efficient use of Babbledecker, because we've already gotten the Clockwork revive and we've gotten its effect out already. And we're going for Varudross here because I wanted to go for an Omni-Negate with this deck before locking myself into Machine. So now I can use Blue Traveler to revive itself and the Stampede. And now Stampede can change itself into level 10, targeting Traveler. We didn't do that before because we just linked it off. So now we're using that effect, going for Launcher. And Launcher gives us that second normal summon, so we can just go straight into Harvester. Harvester grab Dozer. Dozer go for the Trencher, and then go for River Stormer, go for the Regulus. Link into Anger. Summon back the Blue. Make 2 level 10s, right? Go for the Gustav Rocket. Now, that being said, you use 2 cards from hand here, and you don't need an extra card from hand to go for some of the end board pieces, like Rocket. Like the combo, you know, leaves box in hand, so you can discard that for the Gustav Rocket. And yeah, so you have 3 other cards in hand, but it's like you have 3 solid negates now. Every board before this has been 2.5 interruptions, like with the third one being Daracrane, or just having like Dora to protect your field. But I think having an actual Omni-Negate on your field to protect you on top of Regulus, since it has to leave the field after, is really strong. And the fact that you get to choose to detach and destroy one on field means this card could be potentially up to 2 interruptions if you time it correctly. And the fact that, like, if it gets destroyed, it can pop another card on field, or if you want to save material on it, you know, you can pop one while it attacks. So it's like this card's very useful for a lot of different reasons. I again forgot to go for the Goliath under the Rocket, but it's okay. Rocket has at least 2 materials, so it will make it to your next turn. All things considered, you absolutely want to at least have a Goliath as material on the Rocket. So we're gonna fix up the lines. In the lines where you go for Vardras, you may not have a Goliath under Rocket, and we already used Clockwork. So some of the lines for this deck are tough, but this is just the start of Earth Machine, and these lines may not be perfect, but it's just a showcase of what the deck can do, using 1 to 2 cards at most from hand. So there are FTKs. I'll show one of them because I really don't like them. So I grabbed this FTK from the Earth Machine Discord. So it's just heavy forward. I believe you only need 1 discard. I don't believe you need both of them. I could be wrong, but you go heavy forward into Harvester. So you go Clockwork, grab Knight, Dozer into the River Stormer. But as I mentioned before, going for it this way opens you up to Nibiru. Traveler gets you Switchyard. Switchyard, drop Knight, grab Daracrane. Knight, grab Regulus. Regulus attach, whatever, doesn't really matter. Trencher, summon Harvester. Daracrane summon, make Harvester level 10, go for Gustav. Genius, then you use Blue. Oh, and Blue can revive Gustav, that makes sense. So now you go Bullet Train, Flying Launcher to get Stampede. Stampede summon, bring back Daracrane. Gustav number 2, that's 4k. Then you go for Rocket. Goliath, make Anger Knuckle. Goliath, you know, reattach to Gustav, that was summoned off Blue, so it didn't use this effect yet. And then, you know, for the final one, you're going to use Regulus plus the Blue, you summon off Anger Knuckle to make the third and final Gustav Max. That being said, this line is very vulnerable to just about every hand trap, because you start with heavy forward, so you lose to Droll immediately. You play into Nib really hard, going for Clockwork Knight before River Stormer. And yeah, I mean, from that point, it's like even 1 Imperm on Harvester without hard drawing Dozer can absolutely ruin this line, unless you have like access to your level 10 engine already. That being said, that's why I don't think the FTK stuff kind of works for me. But I do understand why you would want to play the deck this way. I could see Gustav getting hit to 1, like the OG Gustav getting hit to 1, just to stop this kind of FTK stuff, because without triple Gustav, you're maybe doing 4,000. Like you can do 2k normally, and then you summon back Gustav off of Blue Traveler, and then you get to detach to burn again. Link off, go for Tunneler, put it back into extra deck, summon it again, 6,000. Like that's still a lot of steps, and it's like you just have to go completely uninterrupted to do all those steps all together. So even if Gustav gets limited, you can still go for like 6,000. It's just having it at 3 makes it easier to go for 8,000 without like overcompensating. So I guess you did need both discards, because you needed one for the heavy forward. I mean, one for the Clockwork Knight, and the second one, it's like you don't need to go for Rocket. It's just to insulate the line after Regulus, in case they're holding something. Like what will they be holding after 5th summon? Is the question. And this isn't the only FTK. You can FTK with Machina stuff, like Machina redeployment, and you can FTK with exceptional schedule as well. But I just wanted to show this line because this is all the stuff that we're already playing. I didn't want to show stuff that I'm not going to showcase in the list. So just to finish off with the deck profile, we have our starters, in my opinion, from strongest to least strongest. So the strongest starter by a mile is Exceptional Schedule, Harvester, then it's Heavy Forward, then it's Blue Traveler. You could argue that Heavy Forward and Harvester are the same thing. Heavy Forward could be slightly better because you can go for all the Harvester lines under Heavy Forward, but Heavy Forward plays harder into Droll. So that's why I value Harvester a little better. Harvester can go into Dozer summon 2, and then you mill the, let's say, Blue Traveler instead of adding it to hand. Or you can mill Babbledecker, link off with the Harvester into Clockwork, use Trencher to banish 1, to banish itself, summon back Harvester, go Clockwork, Clockwork Tribute 1, summon back Decker, and then Decker can go for rank 10 because they activated Droll that turn. So that's why I think, again, Harvester is slightly better than Heavy Forward, because this card has a line through Droll where this does not. Blue Traveler, it's like, it's a great card overall, great extender, not the best starter, but the fact that it is still a starter regardless means that we do have to max out on it, because we don't have that many true starters in this deck without overcompensating. Like if I wanted to play Machina Metal Cruncher, sure, but playing triple Machina Metal Cruncher means that I need to play triple Brutadozer, or I need to play like triple of something else to make up for that. And Machina Metal Cruncher being a level 9 means that it can't really work with Switchyard, it doesn't really work with a lot of other things, so it's not as strong as I'd like it to be in this version of the deck. Babbledecker, I really want to play 3, but this card is not a starter. So I'm playing it at 2 because it's a good extender, and for some lines you need the second one. For some lines with Ancient Gear Ballista, you need the second one to search off of Gearbox, and for me, that's what's most important. The Canine effect is probably what's going to save this deck from it. It's like that not being a quick effect makes this card really bad during the opponent's turn, but it makes it really strong during your turn. And that may be what the deck needs to be able to make it in this format, or in the future format where things are even going to get power creeped past what it is right now. One Dara Crane, one Bullet Train, both of these aren't starters, so they're just good extenders. That was the issue with Trains and Infinitrax before, is that these kind of did nothing if you draw them by themselves, whereas like now these new Train cards, they do something if you draw them by themselves. Like Babbledecker can at least set up a interruption, like, and it's like 3 of these 4 starters, you search something before you normal summon, meaning that if they hit you with Droll or whatever, Babbledecker at least gets to normal summon, slap a Gustav cannon, Gustav rocket on the field, excuse me. So you do get to punish them for attempting to hit you with anything. Stampede, Trencher, Dozer, these are all your necessary soft bricks. Stampede's a soft brick because Switchyard only summons from deck, so if you open Stampede, then you cannot get Stampede's second effect, because we're not going to play more bricks just to resolve this card. I don't think it's worth it. Regulus isn't a brick, but I don't think it needs to be played on more than one. Setting up your graveyard is tough before like playing into Droll. Like I don't think you can set up your graveyard without playing into Droll, but you still don't want to play more than one of these because it's not a starter. That's, yeah. Box, and then Tunneler. I was arguing taking Tunneler out. Like, I think there's a world where this deck can play without Tunneler. But because I'm only playing one of each Train Exceed, arguably I think you have to keep Tunneler in. One Clockwork, again, soft brick for Clockwork Nightlines, like heavy forward into Clockwork Nightlines. But if you draw this with Blue or with Switchyard, you just get easier access to some of your best engine pieces. Double Urgent, because Exceptional Schedule, you have to search Urgent Schedule from deck to summon the token to your opponent's field, meaning that if you only play one Urgent and you draw it with Exceptional Schedule, then you're kind of screwed. However, if you draw Urgent with Exceptional Schedule, you can use Exceptional Schedule's second effect to send a card you control to the graveyard to summon a level 10 from grave or banish. And Urgent Schedule does actually search a level 10 machine if it's set and sent from field to graveyard, meaning that it's actually not a brick if you open it with Exceptional Schedule. It's actually another Rhoda, assuming that you don't get drolled. So here we have the Droll Protection called by Crossout. I would argue that Salesman is worth a slot in this deck just because of how much searching we do, and we can just Salesman start of game. Like, instead of playing Droll ourselves, like maybe we can side it and just play triple Salesman so that we hit Droll beforehand going first. Or maybe we side the Salesman instead of siding the Droll. We keep Droll in main for Crossout, and then we take out Droll for Salesman. I think that's a good way to do it as well. And then we have hand traps, right? Ash, Imperm, Purge. Purge going first is great. Purge going second is like, if you don't see the Ash, right, then you can Purge. But the only go second cards that care about Purge is really only SP, right? The only cards that contradict Purge are Ash, SP, and Varadras. You're not making Varadras going second. It's like you're most likely going to play into the machine lock to make a board going second. If you have to like play into multiple interruptions, you're most likely going to have to get machine lock to make a board. So Varadras isn't really an option. But SP, it's possible to make it without getting machine lock going second, but I wouldn't really count on it. Like, you could go like after you Urgent Schedule, if you're not, Purge locked, you can go Harvester, link off into Goliath, link with Blue, make SP. That is something that you can do, but I wouldn't, or it's not the end of the world if you can't do that, is what I want to say. And if they already have, and yeah, so it's like, it's okay if you can't do that, but you don't have to do that. Or you can play like maybe like Nightmare. Well, you can't play Nightmare Phoenix. You can play maybe Nightmare Cerberus to be able to pop a monster they control, a special summon monster, maybe over like Zeus or Varadras if you don't want to play these two guys. But yeah, that's if you care about the Purge Lock. If you don't think there's a better hand trap you can be playing, then the Purge Lock doesn't hurt the deck that much. So that being said, side deck, I think Thrust, really big, right? Our best card is a normal spell card now, so Thrust is really big for Engine. You could also use this to search, board breakers, which is very important. Also, funny interaction with Evenly and Exceptional Schedule. You put a token on their field, meaning that if you evenly them after you put a token on their field, they cannot save any card that isn't a token. So they have to clear the whole board except a token if you go evenly and then Exceptional Schedule and then evenly and put a token on their field. So just remember that. Droplet, right, as a good card. I know Forbidden Crown is coming out in Burst Protocol, but that's not a board breaker. We need breakers in this deck. Crown is good, but it's not like we need like a sweeping board breaker like Dark Ruler or something. Dark Ruler would be fine because it goes really well with Switchyard's effect where they don't take battle damage. Now, what's funny is that this only sets battle damage, so you can still inflict damage with like Gustav. You can still inflict a 2k, but otherwise, yeah, you kind of want something that's going to deal with the whole board instead of just one or two things. Floodgates is how this deck used to be played. When you would go first, you can side these in and just like blow out the opponent. Like any one of the three of these cards and you're probably winning the game. Like Skill Drain with a 5k monster on board, crazy. Goes in match since all your monsters are Earth. Even if you're on the Varadras line, it's just good to have this in case they out the Varadras. And then Rivalry, same thing, same argument. It's like, it's good to have this. It's like most of your lines, you're ending with just Earth machines on field. so there's no need to worry about the potential of having Varajos on field. So Flying Launcher can search Barrage Blast. I don't like this card enough for it to be worth a slot in the deck, but you know, if there's ever a line, because I think we have a lot of engine but not enough engine, like we're not like over the top with engine, you know, like it's not like our engine's so huge that we just get to play like kind of mid cards. It's like we still kind of have to play, like as optimally as possible, and I think in a perfect world we don't need Barrage Blast, but it's a good card to add to your end board in case you keep Flying Launcher on field or a few other cards, a few other Exceeds that don't need their materials on field. Like if you go Rocket with Goliath and it has like extra materials, then Barrage Blast could be strong there too. Double Wild is one that I was heavily considering with all the new support. The only reason I wouldn't play this is because you have to target a monster with a level, and it has to be level 5 or lower. So in a perfect world where you always have Harvester, this card's amazing because that means that it's a quick play spell, so it plays better into Droll. It has the ability to summon the monster from your hand with the same type, and it locks you into that type, but this deck already locks itself into Earth Machine. So it's not even like this card heavily restricts you. If you want to play like Machina Citadel, I think this is a great card to bring Citadel out because you can activate this during your opponent's turn. But again, because you have to target a monster with a level and it has to be level 5 or lower, that means that you have to leave a level 5 or lower monster on your field, which is actually not as easy as it sounds now that you're playing with way more level 10s. And because Exceeds don't count, you're not going to be able to activate this as much as you'd like. So in a perfect world, like, yes, you could play this card, but I think if you want to summon Machina Citadel, the Machina Trap card's just better, especially with Dora, right? Like the Machina Trap card with Dora just brings Citadel out from deck. Fortress is another one that I was considering, but I think with this new stuff, we no longer need Fortress. Fortress was here to unbrick hands. It was previously the best target. You can go like Harvester plus Fortress was the best 2 monsters to summon off of Urgent. But now I don't think you need Fortress. You can still play it, but its level doesn't really mix well with the deck, right? It's not level 8, so we can't use it to make rank 10s. We don't really have space for Earth Slicer anymore because every one of these links, you could argue maybe the second Clockwork isn't a staple because it's only for very particular lines. But yeah, every other one of these cards is a staple. Your flex spots are really the Zeus, Varajos, and SP, and I'd argue SP is kind of important for going second and breaking boards. Same thing with Zeus. Varajos is really your only flex spot if you don't care about the Omni in the Babeldecker plus Blue Traveler hand. So that's the only time where you're really going for Varajos. Otherwise, you don't really make it all that often, so you can arguably take it out, but I digress, right? Gengaradai is a rank 10 that you can make to clear boards. It can be made under Blue Traveler because it's a rank 10 machine, and it can also be overlaid onto Lieb. This is the alternate artwork if you're not familiar of Lieb. But Gengaradai, and also if you go for Exceptional Schedule, this can also pop the token as well and inflict 1,000 to your opponent. That being said, I'm not fully in love with this card because it just doesn't do enough, in my opinion, to be something that we go for before we get Earth Machine Lock. The problem is that the Earth Machine Lock still conflicts with this card. It's not a quick effect. It's just a weaker Gustav with a material, like Gustav with a Daracrane as material. It's just a weaker version of that, and it has to be overlaid into Lieb. It can't attack on its own. I don't know. It's a cool card, and maybe there will be space for it. Like maybe there will be certain niches where we have to use this card, but because Flying Launcher pops spells and traps, and it's just itching to use this effect because it has no other use for its Exceed material, and it does, like, you put everything in a bag of chips into this card, it makes Gengaradai feel kind of like, oh, power crept, you know, in a way. But again, there's space for this card. Absolutely, you could take out Varajos, but you don't have to play it. Bell is here because Blue Traveler is you can only use this card's effect once per duel. Because it says you can only use the effect once per duel and not activate, that means that if they have anything from like DD Crow to any sort of engine that banishes this card from graveyard as you're activating the effect, there's no way to like counter that. this card has to resolve once it's activated. Like, you have to be in a situation where you're confident, or it just has to resolve for you to win. Like, or where if it doesn't resolve, you don't win. So this card has to resolve, meaning you can play Bell to protect this card from your opponent's nonsense. And yeah, lastly, RBs, you can summon Cutter off of Urgent Schedule, and you know, you can make Valken Booster using any 2 monsters. You don't need to play the Link 3, really. You can just go for Valken Booster, bring back Cutter. Now, I know that Brutodozer is going to lock you into Earth Machine, so you kind of want to do this before your Earth Machine lock. But yeah, I mean, there's a possibility that you can do this. I mean, Exceptional Schedule is great for RBs on top of being great for, it's great for every machine deck. Every machine deck can use this card, and absolutely should use this card now that it exists. Ancient Gears are going to love this card. So many decks are going to love this card. So that's why I like it. That's why they're not in the main deck. But if there's a world where we can get more Spell and Trap Interruption using the engine, I would love that. Also, conflicting field spells, right? Like, RBs are good extenders because they, you know, they're just like Terratops, but they don't start combos. And because of that, like, you can argue that they're not really staple material. So I think RBs are good, they're just not strong enough. And yeah, you've pretty much seen the entire X deck throughout the video, besides Lieb, because this is a card you go for when you're trying to finish the game. But if you've played Earth Machine, you're familiar with this card. He can go up to 6,000. He can attack for each material he has, attack monsters for each material he has, +1. And yeah, as I said before, your flex bots, SP, Zeus, and Varadros. But I like all 3 of these cards, so I'm keeping them in, but you definitely don't have to. I think you can make a 4 material Zeus now. Yeah, with Rocket. If you're able to just attack with Gustav Max, you can make a 4 material Zeus with Rocket. Gustav Rocket on top of or under Zeus, and then you can use the Blue Traveler to bring back the Rocket, and then, you know, go for Goliath later in turn, and then Goliath attached to Blue Rocket, so now Rocket doesn't get destroyed during end phase. So yeah, and Zeus also plays under the Blue Traveler lock. So if you preemptively Blue Traveler lock, then you still get to go for Zeus, which is great. That's why I think Zeus is worth a slot in the deck. So yeah, that was probably a lot of information, but I've been gone for a while, and I figured what better, like, this was such support out of left field that I figured there's no better time for me to make another deck discussion than now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Remember, use code Nistro, card trader, save 5%, or you can go on Dueling Guard, deck boxes, mats, and you can get 15% off using my link in the description. So that's been all for now. Hope you guys enjoyed. Been your boy Nistro here, signing out.